So we're going to go ahead and get started. Can we have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Baxter. Here. Commissioner Flores. Mayor Marino.
Here.
Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Commissioner Sacks. Commissioner Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner Woodward. Thank you.
Okay, if you could all stand, please. Dear God, we are thankful for this day that you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, its challenges. We pray for strength and guidance for each day as it comes, for each day's duties, for each day's problems. May we be challenged to give our best always, and may we be assured of your presence with us. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And let the record show Commissioner Woodward has joined us. Thank you. Okay, proof of publication.
We do have proof of publication.
Do I need a motion for that?
Need a motion?
I have a first from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, all opposed. See that motion carries 5-0. Can we have the swearing in, please?
Will all those wanting to testify on today's items please rise and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
Thank you. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions?
We do have some. So for B2, deviation 2025-1477 South Florida Fairgrounds, a correction for the fence location. It's not on the southwest border, but the southeast border. On the regular agenda, under the comprehensive plan and concurrent zoning applications, there is an addition, what I put as 4.5. It relates specifically to items 3 and 4. It's a resolution authorizing replacement of the master declaration restrictive covenants for the Pine Ridge Apartments. So there's a motion on that. And the backup material is provided. And then late yesterday, we had an addendum to add the backup information for the county attorney contract, which is item E7.
Thank you. May I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor, all opposed. See that motion carries 5-0. We do not need to take a vote on any postponements, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're going to go to the consent agenda. We do need disclosures for item 2. So Commissioner Powell, any disclosures on item 2? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No disclosures on item 2.
Commissioner Weiss?
No disclosures.
Vice Mayor?
I had verbal, on item number 2, I had verbal communication with Matt Walsmith and no site visit.
I had no disclosures. And Commissioner Woodward?
No disclosures?
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor, all opposed. See that motion carries 5-0. We are at the end of our consent agenda. We are now on to our regular agenda. We are now on item 3A. Do you want to do 3A and 4 together?
Yes, we could do 3, 4, and then the 4.5 one that I put on the delete.
Thank you. Does anyone want a presentation on Pine Ridge?
No, thank you.
Okay, I don't see a request for a presentation, so may I get a motion for 3A, please?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor,
Yes.
before we vote. Is 3A, is this the one that we're taking, that's supposed to be 100%, and then changing those numbers? May I change my mind? I would like a brief presentation.
Sure.
Thank you.
We'll have the applicant come to the podium for the presentation.
Hold on one second. Commissioner Powell, your light is also on?
Madam Mayor, are we doing disclosures before or after the presentation?
We can do them now, that'd be fine. Okay, disclosures for item 3. Commissioner Powell?
4.
I'm sorry.
3 and, well, 4.
We'll do disclosures for item 4. Thank you. Commissioner Powell?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've had verbal communication with John Roach, Brian Seymour, David Wilkoff, Eric Moore, and any written communication that has come through has been filed with the clerk.
Thank you. Commissioner Weiss?
Thank you, Mayor. I've had verbal communication with Brian Seymour, John Roach, David Wolkoff, Eric Moore. Correspondence been filed with, the email correspondence been filed with the clerk.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
I've had no written communication. I've had verbal communication with John Roach, Brian Seymour. And if the clerk, would you please add the other two just in case? And no site visit.
And for me, I had verbal communication with John Roche, Brian Seymour, and I believe the Vice Mayor wanted to add David Wolkoff and Eric Moore.
Correct.
And I also had communications with David Wolkoff and Eric Moore, and I filed correspondence with the clerk. Commissioner Woodward?
I need a clarification. These are for disclosures since the last time this came to us, or?
Ever.
I usually do just for whatever, but if it's.
Yeah, so this is the first time you're hearing the zoning item.
Okay, so I need all of those same disclosures. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Okay.
The planning item, which is item
Yeah.
3, you heard before, and so, but there's no disclosures for that.
Okay, then, yeah, John Roach, Brian Seymour, David Wolkoff, and Eric Moore. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will take the presentation.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. My name's John Roach. I'm an in-house land planner with the Gunster Law Firm. The item before you, item number 3, is an adoption of an amendment to the future land use atlas in relation to the Pine Ridge Apartments, which is located on Southern Boulevard, just east of Jog Road. The amendment, or the atlas amendment that was before you previously on August 22nd, it was to modify a condition of approval that was in the future land use atlas relating to the mix of units in the various income categories, and it was also to change that mix and also to unrestrict some of the units. You did transmit this by a vote of 7-0 on August 27th. The other 2 items are simply companion items. Item number 4 is an amendment to the development order that mirrors the future land use atlas condition. And then item 4.5, which was added to the agenda, is the restrictive covenant, again, mirroring that future land use atlas amendment. I can go into more detail as to the basis of the application. Nothing has changed since it was before you in August, but I'm happy to provide that if you need to.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Would you cover the units one more time that were supposed to be 100% workforce or affordable housing?
Correct. When the project was approved in 2020, there was the condition put on there that 100% of the residential units, the 288 units, was to be income restricted. And that was broken down into the various categories. 4 units were put into the 60 to 80% range, 4 units into the 80 to 100. 4 units into 100 and 120, and then 4 into the 120 and 140.
How many are you wanting to unrestrict now?
So what we are proposing is that we will remain approximately half of the units will remain restricted, but we are moving them all into the lower 2 income categories, which better matches the market in which they've been experiencing. Since they opened, they've, I believe in a 12-month period, they turned away 1,400 potential tenants because they didn't fall into the specific, the 4 categories were very detailed as to how many units were in each of those. And so they were getting, tenants that were outside of those numbers and therefore having to turn them away. So by putting half of the units, the 55 and the 90 into the 2 lower categories, and then unrestricting half of the units. The unrestricted ones will provide for the flexibility to allow for the market to flux, as well as, figure out, based upon who's coming in the door to accommodate those individuals, as opposed to having to turn them away simply because they don't fit within those
And
exact
how many,
ranges.
excuse me, sorry, just for time purposes, how many of them are you saying now that we're going to have that have to fit in there are going to be roughly half of them now, but half of them are unrestricted? Yet before, it wasn't half, that was just workforce. Are you saying you're putting more into an affordable category?
So right now, there's 4 units for low, moderate 2, middle, and then 272 units are into the workforce. We are moving everything, the half of the units are moving into those 2 lower categories, so into low and moderate 1. And that's better reflecting what we're actually seeing in terms of potential tenants.
So could you give us some price approximates on these then, or what people will be paying, and then what they could be paying for an unrestricted unit?
So
Just to be clear, these are all rentals, no ownership?
that is correct, yes.
Thank you.
And if you give me 1 second, within the restrictive covenant, there's actually a table, the rent floor. Actually, staff, do you have the 2025 table? Thank you. So for the 2025, a 1-bedroom, if you look at 60 to 80, a 1-bedroom starts at 1,300. And then this is the rent, not the income. The rent starts at 1,300 and goes up to about $1,755
For a 1-bedroom?
for a 1-bedroom in the low category. The moderate is $1,755 up to $2,193.
And that's including moderate 1 and 2?
No, that's just the
Just-
moderate one going
So
up
it's
to.
moderate 2.
So moderate 2 would push up into the almost $2,200 to over $2,600. And again, these are all 1-bedrooms.
When this project was originally approved, the previous board approved it at understanding these would be 100% restricted, right?
Correct.
And that seems to be a current problem. Were other avenues other than coming back to us for 143? I just think that's a lot of unrestricted units. Was there some other thoughts of possibly how you could handle these units instead of just coming back to us for unrestricting them after we approved a project thinking we were getting 100% restricted?
In our discussions with staff over the many months, this was the conclusion that would best serve the market as well as provide for the flexibility and the financial stability, and that's the reason we brought that before you in cooperation with staff.
Thank you. I'll wait to hear from my fellow commissioners.
Commissioner Powell?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ms. Roach, 272 units between 80% and 140% of the area median income. That gives us a gap of about 60% from 80 to 140. Do you know where the bulk of those units are? Because I know as a board, we had kind of agreed that anything over, was it 110 or 120%, we, as a board, kind of wanted to lean in that direction. Are those 272 units, what percentage of them are at the 130 to 140% of the area median income? And then what would that price range be for the 272 units? Can you give us a breakdown of what that looks like?
So there's no requirement to further divide the 272 into 80 to 140. It's any one that falls within that category. So the 80% on a 1-bedroom, the 80% would be $1,755 a month. And then the 140, that goes up to over $3,000. And what we were finding is that the bulk of the individuals who were coming in the door looking to rent were falling into the 60 to 100. So those that were in the workforce, especially the quantity that were in the workforce, were not available to those in those lower income categories, and therefore had to be turned away.
Okay, thank you. I think that was a part of the conversation we had, was that this allowed the flexibility where it
Exactly.
doesn't have to be at that rate, but if they come in based on income, you'd have the ability to adjust for those in those particular units. Is that correct?
We could adjust based upon who's coming in the door as well as the market and what rents are there as opposed to being held to a table that is published.
Thank you.
Commissioner Weiss?
Thank you. And Senator Powell, or Commissioner Powell asked the questions I was going to ask, but in addition to that, by having them unrestricted, then if the market will allow you to go below that if need be.
For sure.
Whereas under the previous plan, you could not. They had to be between that 80 and 140 and could not go below.
Correct.
Okay.
We
And
had
so
to
this
stick
is-
to the table. Yeah.
Correct. And so, yeah, thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to clarify a question that Commissioner Weiss had asked. It would give the flexibility to the units, but you said that you need the unrestricted units to help offset the cost of the lower. So if the market did change, what are the odds that you think you would actually have lowered the price of an unrestricted unit below what's allowed?
I mean, the goal is to have 100% of the units occupied, and, you know, the location of the project and the market and so forth is always gonna drive, you know, what market rents are as opposed to the table. So the unrestricted will provide that flexibility to rent and occupy as many units as we possibly can to ensure the financial stability of the project. I mean, that's the problem we've been having, is that with so much of a restriction that is there today, is that the project's in jeopardy.
And before the project was approved, I'm assuming somebody did a study or analyzed the market at that time to justify 100%?
Our
Restricted units?
client is not the original owner, so we inherited the project under the current conditions, and obviously things have changed in the last 4 or 5 years. The previous owner, you would have assumed that, yes, they did an analysis, but, you know, they sold the project and have moved on.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Woodward.
Where this property is located, can you tell us what the market rate is for similar units right now?
I don't have a market analysis with me to tell you. You know, it is my understanding that the market rate is below what the restrictions are within the table, that, you know, you would be advertising rents that are probably below, you know, what is being published for those workforce housing units.
And how many,
What is this? A chart just appeared. Is this from our staff or?
can someone comment on what this chart is
Yeah,
right
what
here?
this was, and I believe we had shown this in our previous meetings. This is just showing how we looked at the various first responders, the nurses, the teachers, their starting salaries and what they would be able to afford based upon that starting income. And you can see that nearly all of them, which are the horizontal lines, are intersecting with the 2 lowest restriction categories. That's the low and the moderate one. And that's reflective of what we were seeing come in the door of, you know, nurses that were coming in are saying, you know, they can only afford those 2 lower income units, where we only have 4 units in each of those categories today.
Well, if I could, there was a chart that was showing the full number, and it said between 80 and 140. Are you telling, yes, this one. So near the bottom, workforce 80 to 140, AMI 272 units. Does that mean then you did not have flexibility with those 272 units?
We could not put them below 80%, no.
But you could put them at the 80 to 100?
We could put them we could put them anywhere 80 to 140, yes.
Okay. And to the Vice Mayor's question, I think we would maybe like to know, what is the market rate you plan to advertise if this were to pass today? What would the 143 units be rented for?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have that information before me.
Okay.
How many of the units are currently vacant?
I believe the last I had heard was that approximately 80 to 90% of the units were rented. That's with some flexibility that has been afforded with the amendment that's before you. But if we go back to, again, and that was turning 1,400 people away last year that we couldn't retain because we didn't have they didn't fit within the restrictions. So we've managed to make it work, but it's with the precursor that the amendment was forthcoming.
And you know, we have a concern about rents going up in between their lease periods. And what can you assure us that that's not going to happen here?
Anyone who has a current lease, their rent will not change for the term of that lease.
Well, it's happened before. All right, I don't see any more lights on. We're taking each individual item, correct, as a vote?
Yes.
And a second.
Commissioner Weiss moved it and the Vice Mayor seconded. All in favor? This is on 3A. All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 5-0. We are on now to item 4A.
I'll move item 4A.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Weiss, a second from the Vice Mayor. All in favor, all opposed. See that that motion carries 5-0. And now we are voting on,
4.5
okay, item
Which is
4.5.
covenant to reflect all the changes that you just approved.
Can I get a motion
4.5.
and a second? I have a motion from Commissioner Weiss, a second from Commissioner Powell. All in favor, all opposed. See that motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. Okay, we are on to item number 5, which the board, at our zoning hearing in November, voted to permission to advertise. Does anyone need a presentation?
No.
May I get a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, all opposed. See that motion carries 5-0. There were no disclosures required on that. Item number 6, no disclosures required. This is the Green Market. We did a motion by the board. Majority plus 1 voted to move this from 5 to 9:30. That passed. Does anyone need a presentation for this one?
Nope.
May I get a motion, please?
So moved.
I get
Second.
We'll give the motion to Commissioner Woodward, the second to the Vice Mayor. All in favor, all opposed. See, that motion carries 5-0. We are now on to item number 7, which is the county attorney contract. I need a motion to approve an employment contract for legal services for David Audie Esquire for the position of county attorney. Do anybody need a presentation? Who would like to make the motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor, all opposed. See that that motion carries 5-0. That is the end of the regular agenda. So we'll go to any additional comments. County Attorney, any comments?
No comments.
Okay, planning.
No comments other than to wish everyone a safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving holiday.
Thank you. Zoning.
No comments. Happy Thanksgiving, too.
CP Executive Director. Deputy County Administrator.
Just one, Mayor, as this is your last meeting presiding over zoning and planning in our little bit of the world here, I wanted to say thank you, and from this element of staff, our appreciation for your guidance and all through the past year, and appreciate everything you've done and seen a lot. It's been a very busy year in this world, and thank you so much, and appreciate it, and look forward to next year.
Yeah. Any board direction? Any commissioner comments? Okay, so we are going to adjourn as the Board of County Commissioners, and we are going to reconvene as the Solid Waste Authority. We'll give us about 10 minutes, because I know we've got to move people and move placards, so 10 after 10, or 5, I don't think we need 10 minutes. We'll give you 5 minutes to move around and change, and we'll be back here at 10:05. They're going to
Do
move
we?
the She was supposed to be here at 10:00. Was there traffic?
Yes.
Excuse me, Commissioner Weiss, when you're ready. And Powell, whenever. We're going to try to get through our SWA agenda. Thank you. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes. Vice Mayor Baxter,
Here.
Commissioner Flores, Mayor Marino,
Here.
Commissioner Powell,
Here.
Commissioner Sacks, Commissioner Weiss,
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here?
We have a quorum, and we also have our proof of publication.
Are we waiting on Mr. Pelowitz? Oh, sorry. I'm used to you being up here with us. Forgive me.
And when I come over here, I usually just sit down here.
We've done the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Would we like to do it? Okay. We've done it once already, so we'll skip that.
Thank you.
Proof of publication?
Yes, we have proof of publication.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Mayor Marino's first, Commissioner Woodward second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please see that that motion carries 5-0. On to the selection of a new executive director. Looks like you're seeking board direction on how we would like to proceed forward.
Yes, so at the last board meeting, the board voted to look internally first and conduct interviews. You received one application from Mr. Romana Carey. I believe most of you have met with him, and it's the opportunity for the board to make a decision as to how you want to proceed, either by offering the position to Mr. Carey or continuing the process to look externally.
Thank you. And please, clerk, if you'd let the record reflect that Commissioner Sacks has joined us. Thank you. Good morning. Mayor Marino?
Thank you. Similar to what we did several years ago when we hired Attorney Kaufman, we had the recommendation of the previous attorney, and the board went ahead and accepted that. I am very comfortable with the recommendation and also the letters of support that you have gotten from other staff. And I would make a motion that we would select Romana Carey as our new Executive Director for Solid Waste Authority, and that we would direct I'm not sure who would negotiate the contract, but I will look to our attorney for that.
I believe it would be me. I guess we'll just have to talk about when we're going to bring that back.
Okay. So my motion would be to hire Romana Carey.
Do I have a second?
Madam Mayor?
We got lots of seconds.
Commissioner,
Madam
we'll
Mayor?
give Commissioner Weiss a second. We're still discussing, but if you'd like to go.
Yes,
Commissioner
that's what it is, a discussion. Madam Chair, I'm calling the mayor. Madam Chair, as we've already interviewed Mr. Romana, can we kind of, I think it would do justice to the people who are watching and to individuals who are wondering his qualifications, if they haven't done the research, to kind of discuss why we believe he would be the best fit, what his qualifications are. They are extensive. I don't know if we want to let him discuss those, or if we've got questions that would be better suited to point out some of the reasons that he would be the best candidate and the
I think
most
that's
qualified.
an excellent idea. So if you would, please give us your background and introduce yourself.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to be here with you today. So I've been a resident of South Florida for about 35 years. So I know the local issues, solid waste issues. My background and qualifications, I have a bachelor's degree and master's degree in engineering and an MBA in international business. And I'm a professional engineer in the state of Florida, and I'm also a board certified engineer in the solid waste specialty. And I bring 32 years of experience based here in South Florida, but worked on projects all over globally. And 20 years of those in the private industry. I was a consultant, and I was a consultant to the authority back in 2000, for about 13 years. And then I came over to the authority. So I have 25 years of experience working on solid waste authority projects. I know the issues in Palm Beach County, and Palm Beach County is a leader in solid waste. Everyone wants to follow our system. So with that, I offer you that experience, and I have a great team. And so we have big initiatives coming up, Ref 1R and the hauling contract and everything. So I would bring continuity to what Mr. Palowitz has undertaken here and done an exceptional job. And so I would offer you that.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. And first off, I just want to say I have confidence in you as our next executive director. I think you bring the experience and understanding of our operation, which is unique, not only in Florida, but in the United States and, quite frankly, around the world. I did some research and found that there are only 70 facilities that even have something close to what we have. And then when I looked into when the last waste-to-energy plant was built, it was Palm Beach County. 2015 was the last facility. And you were involved in that as a consultant to us, but then Mr. Pelowitz brought you aboard to finish off the construction of that plant as an employee of the Solid Waste Authority. And so to have that experience as we're moving into a phase of having to replace one of our plants, I think that will serve the residents and the businesses of Palm Beach County very well. I don't know where else we would find somebody with that experience because there's not a lot of people like that. The other thing I would say is our operation here runs very, very well. We rarely have any issues, and when we do, we have the processes and the teams in place to address them. We have a very good working relationship with our haulers that are out on the roadways, and I think from everything I've been able to discover, you are well suited, and I have my confidence in you to do an excellent job replacing Mr. Pelowitz, who we will surely miss. But life goes on and changes happen, and so we're at that point. So I appreciate your interest in wanting to do this and putting yourself forward, and I will be supporting this.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sacks.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I'm very excited about this appointment. I know the first thing is that Chair Pelowitz had recommended you, and I have been very pleased as a county commissioner with the efforts of Mr. Pelowitz and certainly the work of the Solid Waste Authority. Very, very pleased with it. So the continuation of that work to me is important. I know that you've been part of the team and that you're going to carry on the great work that you've been a part of. You've been an integral part of. I look forward to your leadership in this, and I strongly support your taking over the position. And I know that we will have the same, I did not work with you, wasn't part of your team, but I know the captain of the team, and I know that you'll continue on in the good work. And thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd also like to receive and file the letter from Commissioner Flores dated November 13th, 2025, with the clerk of the court, if I may. Madam Chair, thank you.
Please.
Should I give it to you? Okay, good. Thank you. Here I am.
Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to say we had our interview, and thank you, Commissioner Powell, for asking for you to have a little bit of opportunity to tell the public who could be listening just a couple of things. Could you tell us the roles that you've had with the Solid Waste Authority since you've come on board, because I know you started in one area and that's greatly expanded in, under Mr. Pelowitz. So.
Correct. Thank you again. So back in October 2013, I went from being a consultant to the authority to an employee. So I was hired as the chief engineer. At that time, my role was to manage the engineering department, and that was the only department I had at that time. And that includes managing, the REF operations and construction of the REF 2 at that time, and all the engineering and other miscellaneous stuff. So that's what I had. And slowly my roles and responsibilities expanded. So I went from engineering to managing the environmental team. So I had, which basically is a complementary function, because you have compliance aspects that relates to landfills and, the facilities that we operate. So, and that expanded. And then I got the education, marketing, and legislative affairs team. And then last year, Mr. Pelowitz promoted me to be the managing director. Then I had additional responsibilities in addition to engineering, environmental programs, recycling education, and legislative affairs. Now I have the finance team, I have customer service team, I have purchasing, I have equal business opportunity, and I have IT. So there are a total of 9 different groups that I'm involved in right now and managing.
Okay, thank you. And, for any of those that are listening, if you've never visited our Solid Waste Authority, it's a good field trip for children and adults. It's daunting how much garbage this county generates and how we are able to manage it ourselves. We don't send it outside the county. We keep our stuff here and we deal with it. And, it's specialized and unique. And I'm very happy that you have put in for this and that you found someone that you kind of groomed into being ready to step right into the position. I feel very comfortable and I'm happy about this. And this is not something where we want our garbage piling up and people, angry residents calling us, where does this stuff go? What happened? And I feel very confident that you'll be able to maintain this and carry us into the next, because we do have big projects coming up, the new REF and, new contracts coming out. There's a lot of big things, but you've already been a part of this once. So hopefully you'll be able to make it just as smooth, if not better this time. So thank you very much. I will be supporting this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And could you just give us a quick synopsis? I know you listed departments that you are currently over. What's your philosophy? You talked about your team, but your philosophy on team building and leadership within your team and developing leaders. That was one of the questions that we talked about in my office.
Yes, thank you. So I've always been a leader who is approachable. So I have an open door policy, because people should walk into my office and talk about their issues and, how we can solve them. And it's always been that. And for young professionals, I'd like to be a mentor because, what you see in this industry is a lack of bench strength, right? So not many people want to go 30 years in this profession. These days, it's a gig economy and people want to do something for a year or two and then take on other stuff. And I'm also a person who sets goals and I'm very results oriented. I make sure people have resources to do their job and they complete it on time, on budget, successfully. So I make sure, like, every step of the way, I keep in touch with them. I'm kind of hands-on, not micromanaging, but hands-on, multiple checkpoints to make sure, they're on the right track and provide them the resources to get there.
Thank you.
So we have no more lights. We do have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any? Did we do a receive and file? I need a motion for receiving. All in favor for the receive and file, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please see that that motion carries 6-0. On to the motion and the second to hire Mr. Romano. I can never. Romana Carey. Forgive me. It always catches me. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? See that the motion carries 6-0.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I would like to
Congratulations.
take a minute to thank Mr. Palowitz for being a great mentor, a great boss, and all his guidance all these years, so I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank the board. It's big shoes to fill, but I'm going to work hard. I have a great team, and I'll do my best. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Weiss.
I want to share something with you. It happened to me the other day. I was in a grocery store picking up some groceries, and a gentleman walked up to me and he said, "Are you Commissioner Weiss?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "Who are you?" And he introduced himself and told me he worked at the Solid Waste Authority and that he was one of our drivers. And we proceeded to have a conversation, but I wanted to share with you and with our board, even the drivers were watching this process, and he told me he recommended that we choose you so that you have support of your frontline staff as well. I mean, that was the message that was delivered to me. And so I think that speaks very highly of you, and I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I mentioned to Mr. Pelowitz, and I wanted to thank the team. I saw one of the commercials, the new commercials Solid Waste Authority has put out with all the automobiles showing the metal that we recover from the incinerators. It was a great commercial. I was with my family and we're like, hey, look at that. It was really good. So good job to the marketing team. Want to see that continue. And Commissioner Sachs wasn't here when we ended the last meeting, but I did just want to tell her good job with the grandsons at the Veterans Day event. Two very little boys led the Pledge of Allegiance, and it was beautiful, very heartwarming. I wanted to thank her for bringing 5 and 3 and 5, leading the full Pledge of Allegiance. So good job on that.
Attorney Jones.
I didn't want to interrupt anybody on the board if they still had comments, but I did want to kind of talk about the contract and when we would like it to bring it back. There is a December meeting, but a lot of times those get canceled, so I'm just not sure.
We're planning the December meeting, so
Okay.
that would be optimal.
What's the date of that?
10th.
Is that okay with the board?
Works for anyone opposed to December 10th. We're good?
Okay.
We're talking, apparently there's another meeting of the county in the same day, and we're talking about doing them both here. So we'll let you know where that takes place.
Thank you.
I-
Commissioner,
Just quickly, in your packet, there's I believe it's Evergreen Solutions, has some recommendation as to what should be in this contract, so I'm going to use those as the starting point going forward. That's okay?
thank you. Commissioner Sachs, did you still need to say something?
Always need to say something. Thank you, Commissioner Woodward. Grandmothers have very little to say when it comes to their grandchildren. I've learned that from many of my constituents in Kings Point, who told me years ago, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and shut up when you're a grandmother. So I very little, but I have to say that my daughter, who is a daughter of a granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor, World War II veteran, her other grandfather, she has taught her children well. And they sing the entire national anthem, a little bit off key, but it's pretty good. That was all the words. But I was so proud to have those 2 little 5 and 3-year-old go up there and do the Pledge of Allegiance in front of all the veterans. So thank you, Commissioner Woodward, for mentioning that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Pelowitz, did you need to say anything?
No, obviously I want to thank the board. I want to thank all of our employees at the Solid Waste Authority for everything they've done over the years. It's hard work, driving the trucks and operating the equipment. It's amazing to me. Often I just look back, it's just amazing that these folks all show up every day and do this, because they have other alternatives. And so I really want to thank all of them. This has been a great run for me. Obviously, I'm going to miss a lot of this, but the authority's in good hands with Romana, and that's really important. It's always been important to me that the authority be taken care of. We've been out here for 50 years, and we need to continue to do great things here for Palm Beach County and for the environment. And so that's really terrific. And the other thing, I just want to give a shout out to my folks back in the office. The commercials you see, we do them all in-house. So it's our own staff, our own videographers, our own writing, our own talent, and it saves us money over the years, but we put out a great product consistently, and I'm very proud of that as well. But thank you all and have a great day.
I think we owe you a big thank you for doing an amazing job. One of the things that I've noticed over the 3 years of being here was that the Solid Waste Authority is just such an amazing operation. People are very complimentary of it. You do an amazing job. The employees are so polite. I just had a conversation with a leader in Wellington that said, I love working with the SWA. The people are so friendly and they're so helpful and they just get it done. And I don't think there's any higher compliment than that. So thank you for your years. Thank you for your leadership. And with that, meeting is adjourned.